Hi everybody, this is Jenna. If you don't know me, I guess this is my official introduction. I am Jenna Louise. I'm 22, I'm from the Midwest, and I am in a polyamorous relationship. These are going to be a series of question and answer videos to answer some of the things that people seem to be curious about and that they've asked me to, I guess, enlighten you guys on. So, here goes nothing. So, my first, I guess, thing that I want to say isn't necessarily a question, it's more of a clarification. Polyamory is not the same as polygamy. Polygamy means multiple marriages, whereas polyamory is multiple loves. So, polygamy is sister wives and like one man having multiple wives, whereas polyamory can be a man and a woman and another man, anything like that. It's just multiple loves. It's not one person married to multiple people. So that is just one clarification that I wanted to put out there to start with, okay? And continuing on with things, I also want to make clear that like the nickname for a polyamorous person is Polyam. Poly is the like abbreviation for Polynesian people, and they are trying to reclaim that identification for themselves. So please do not refer to people in a polyamorous relationship as poly, refer to them as polyam, just to be as respectful of everyone's boundaries and different cultures and things like that. So when you hear me referring to myself, you are going to hear me referring to myself as polyam, because that's how I identify. Also going off that, another clarification for how I identify specifically, I identify as queer, so that's a thing as well. First question I'm going to cover today is, when did I know and or how did I know that I was polyam? That is a question that goes like meaning or like root to it goes way back to when I was quite younger. Actually, I was in a very serious relationship with a guy, and he was long distance, and he knew that I identified as queer and had interest sexually in women. So to make our relationship work, we decided to have an open relationship where, one, I got my emotional support from him, and at the end of the day, like, I loved him, or what I thought was love, but I would have a female partner who I could be physical with as well, and he had the option to be open as well, and he took part in that. So that's where I was first, I guess, introduced to the idea of having multiple partners, in which it later, I guess, stemmed into influencing my life. I don't think I fully realized that I was polyamorous until years later in my life, where I just always felt like I wanted to like give more affection and more love to other people, and I had more to offer than necessarily constricting myself to one relationship. And I was always curious about this. Unfortunately, I didn't have very supporting partners. They were very strict and abusive for a while. So until recently in the past year, I haven't been able to explore that option of my life. So now my girlfriend of 8 months currently, Brooke, I had asked her a few months ago if we could discuss that I felt like I was polyamorous and I wanted to explore that part of my life, and she said yes, we could go forward, because she knew it was important to me and she wanted me to be able to figure that part of myself out and be truly myself and not constrict myself to being what she wanted me to be. And we came up with a set of rules and boundaries, in which I will go over in another video. So once establishing these rules and boundaries that we have, I was given permission to pursue someone if someone came of interest into my life, and they did. So I currently have another girlfriend named Jenna as well. Yes, I know it might be a bit confusing. It's probably more confusing to you. So that's, I guess, how I'm truly discovering that I do identify as polyamorous. It's still kind of an adventure through my life and figuring it out as I go, but I am fairly certain that is how I do want to choose to identify. So that is how I knew and how I figured it out, I suppose. Could you be happy with just one partner? Yes, absolutely yes. Being part of a polyamorous relationship doesn't necessarily mean that you always are going to have multiple partners. At one time, I was very, very, very happy with my girlfriend Brooke when we started our relationship, and now still, and I didn't feel like I was necessarily missing anything, and I was very, very happy with her. She was giving me everything I needed to offer, and I have been happy with a single partner as well. So there's going to be multiple times in polyam relationships where someone will go through a breakup and you might not necessarily have multiple partners, and that's fine. So you just focus on the one relationship you have. Or you may not have another person that you have interest in. Like any relationship, you can be single for a while and not have interest in someone. So if I don't have interest in another person and I am just dating one person, I'm still very happy because there's no one that I would be actively wanting to pursue. Why isn't one good enough? That is hard to answer, I suppose. It's very much not that one person isn't good enough. Each partner individually that I have is more than enough, and they are perfect in every way, and they give me so much that I honestly couldn't even ask for more. They're both amazing. Being polyam isn't about one person not being good enough and wanting to get something more. It's about you personally wanting to give more and being capable of loving more than one human being. I believe that humans are capable of loving more than one at once. A good sort of metaphor for that is, say you have a family and you have one child. You are very, very happy with your one child, but you also want more children. So you have more children, and your love just expands, and you are capable of loving both children just the same. You don't love one more than the other. You just wanted to expand and grow and, create a bigger family, and you are capable of just emitting love from more than one person. It's kind of the same. I have one girlfriend and someone else sparks my interests, and I want to add them into the mix of my life and pursue them, and it's not choosing one over the other. It's just I want to add to my capability in my life and growing positive. I reassure definitely both of my girlfriends constantly that they are good enough, and that it's not that I don't have feelings for them and that they're not giving me something. But that being said as well, both partners individually offer different things to me, which is quite nice. They both have different personalities and different things, and the emotions and the connections and the sense of humors and things that we have separately both do offer different things, and all come into one giant balance of more or less just a big giant family. So I guess sort of going back to the question, why isn't one good enough? It's not that. It's just I feel that I have so much more, and I want to expand my horizon of compassion towards others. I think that I am going to wrap up this video for the time being. Like I said, I'm going to kind of just start from the beginning and work my way through questions. If you have any more questions, leave them in comments below, or feel free to add them into my Curious Cat if you want to be anonymous or not anonymous. Either way, it doesn't matter. I'm not judging whatsoever. I will have links below. Don't forget to thumbs up and subscribe if possible. Leave any other feedback. So yeah, I hope that this is beginning to answer some of your questions. I hope you all have a lovely morning or day or afternoon or whatever time it is that you watch this, and I love you all. Mwah.